This is potentially the best-selling BMW M5 in Irish history. In just a few short months, they've registered over 70 of them on Irish roads, which is quite groundbreaking. However, there is very good reason for that. You see, traditionally, the M5 has always been the car that can do it all. And the new one, well, they've gone one step further. Under the right conditions, it can do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.5 seconds. But it also has 2 ISOFIX points in the rear seats of the car. It's got the infamous 4.4 litre twin turbo V8 and it sounds phenomenal. When you downshift, it pops and bangs. It's amazing. And yet it also has heated seats, cooled seats, and even a heated steering wheel. It's also got the option to completely set it up how you like, so you can make the suspension stiff, hard. You can change the aggressiveness of the gear change. You can go in all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. It is completely customizable. It's also a massive car, both visually, but also when it comes to weight, as it weighs a little over 2.4 tons. Despite that, with all the clever suspension systems and probably millions of ECUs, it seems to tackle every corner phenomenally well. In fact, you have no sense that you are in a car that weighs over 2.5 tons. In fact, this feels like you can throw it around just about any corner. But it's also quite practical in the real world. There is a 466 litre boot which should fit 1 or maybe even 2 sets of golf clubs, and if that's not enough space, you can get it as a touring and you'll have over 500 litres. That 4.4 litre engine, well, it's got over 585 brake horsepower. But equally, you can just put it in electric mode and cruise around the roads. It's got an 18.6 kilowatt hour battery. You should get in the real world maybe 50 kilometers range on that, which is more than enough to commute to and from work. However, when you combine them together and put it in M1 mode or M2 mode, depending on how you've set it up, you all of a sudden have over 727 brake horsepower. And it's a fascinating feeling because you get that instant torque that you would get from an electric car, but you also get that rumble, that turbo lag that you get from a combustion engine car, and together it is pretty epic. So now it really is the car that can do it all. It's fast, it's comfortable, it's luxurious, it's now also petrol, and it has electrification. Now all of this comes at a price. However, it might not be as much as you'd expect, and it's certainly not as much as the previous M5. In fact, it's not as much as the current M3. It's actually about 17,000 euros cheaper. So it starts at 137 grand. Now this is about 24,000 euros worth of optional extras, and that does definitely pump it up into about 160 grand. However, you are getting a thing called an ultimate pack for that, which includes the carbon ceramic brakes, it includes ventilated seats, a parking pro pack, and a bunch of other things, which you can find out from your dealer. If you'd like to find where your nearest one is, you can hit the link up there. But let's just take a quick look at the interior. The interior is lovely, as you'd imagine. It has this typical BMW infotainment system, that large curved screen, which works really well. You tend to find yourself just using Apple CarPlay. However, the 360 camera is actually really good and very clear. Additionally, the steering wheel is lovely, nice and chunky. The paddles are lovely, shifting up and down gear. Down here you have some controls if you don't want to use the touchscreen. There's also some wireless charging. The seats are very comfortable. And I suppose the big thing is, like in a lot of modern cars, when you go over the speed limit marginally, it will bleep at you. And it's quite a loud bleep. However, there's a nice little shortcut if you go into M modes and click Sport. It just turns all that off and makes life a whole lot more enjoyable. So what are my thoughts on the M5 as a whole? Well, naturally, I do really enjoy it. Certain things I really love now, these wider arches on the rear and the front, they really separate it away from a 5 Series, which the predecessor didn't really do as well. To drive, it is a bit mind-boggling how something so heavy can move so quickly. However, it does, and it does so fairly effortlessly. Anyway, as a whole, I've really enjoyed my time in the car, and I definitely think right now at where they're priced, it is a little bit of a loophole that maybe the Irish government haven't quite copped onto yet. However, down the line that could change, so I would act fast if you're looking to get a new M5, and I wouldn't think twice about it, because for the money it is phenomenal value, and it means you can start your day nice and quietly and then go for a very enthusiastic drive in the afternoon. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.